Ready? Mm-hmm. What's up, everybody? This is a Long Story Short Show. My name's Corey, and this is Jen. And we're going to talk to you guys about Doom Patrol, Episode 2. We just saw it. It had a lot to do with Victor Stone, Cyborg, so that's mainly what we wanted. If you guys want to know what else we wanted to see in this show, we did have a video that I'll link right now, and it's in the description as well as the end card. So those are our top 5 things of what we want to see this season in Doom Patrol, and it's already starting to knock some of those things off the list. Like, number one, I guess we should just start in order. Like, the crew's basically like broken up at the beginning of the episode, right? Like, what's happening?
They're definitely broken up. Like, half the team was like, look, this is why we should never have gotten involved. This is why we stay hidden. This is all your fault, Robot Man, because you wanted to be a hero, and look, now everything is a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah. And let's see. Basically, the team splits up. So you got what's the guy wrapped up? Who's basically the guy that looks like a mummy. His name's Larry. And him and the girl who can basically stretch her body and like make it into any shape and everything like that, Elastigirl, they go home. They're like, all right, fuck that. We're out. We don't want to deal with any of this. Robot Man, he sees a goat and he's like, this goat's the only thing that's left out of this whole town that's been like just teleported away and like destroyed. So this has got to be something. And that's where we meet Cyborg. Cyborg shows up and he's like, what the hell are you doing with the goat, man? And I like their back and forth. It's a lot. It's really cool.
It's exactly what we wanted. Yeah. Like we said in the previous show, that's exactly what we want. How are they going to react to each other? And I love that they just go quickly into it.
Yeah, they're pretty much talking shit, and they have a lot of sports references. But I like how they're using Cyborg because they're doing a lot of stuff like, okay, who is Cyborg? Who is Victor Stone is like the big thing about this episode. It's like Cyborg's been on the Teen Titans. Then he was on the Justice League. And now he's like neither. He's like not good enough for either. He's too good for the Teen Titans. Not good enough for Justice League. And they talk about that.
Exactly. I love how they had just one small little line to like just reference who is Cyborg and what are we doing with him this time around? Yeah,
and so I like what they're doing with him. That's a big deal. And like I said, they're doing a lot of self-aware stuff with Cyborg. Like usually he's a guy always making all the sports references and stuff. And it wasn't in this time. It was Robot Man talking to him. But it's like he understood it in the way where it's not like flashed or anything where you don't have to explain it after you give a sports reference. It's like, look, we're moving on. Guess what? You either get it or you don't get it. That's it. It was Monday night QB shit. Yeah, he's nervous. He's dropping the ball shit.
Yep.
But so Cyborg and Robot Man take the goat back to the house, and that's where they run into basically Larry and Elastigirl. Larry had his own thing going on. Elastigirl, they basically are like, hey, this goat is a portal. Elastigirl, you are the only one that can look inside the mouth of this goat by like turning into like a fucking puddle kind of thing. And that's a crazy good scene. Like, that's like her come to terms with like, look, you need to do some hero work right now. Like, them come to terms with like, look, we're weird ass power people.
I love how she denied it the whole way because her thing is like, she's beautiful. She was supposed to get all these like actresses like,
like 50
awards
years ago.
and stuff like that. Like, so I do how like at first she's like, no, I don't like being ugly. I don't like looking ugly. I don't like feeling ugly. But I have to save the professor somehow.
And Cyborg's doing a really, really good job with that. Just being like, look, I know what it's like to be an outcast, but it's like these people are like, you're not even an outcast enough. Like, you got a family, you got like a big superhero thing going on in Detroit. We just some freaks and geeks in Ohio, so.
But I do like how he's there to show them that like, hey, you can be out in the world. You just can't be going too far to the left, per se, with your stuff.
Yeah.
It freaks people out.
So, Victor, Larry, and Elastigirl make it inside the donkey. The donkey is a key portal, like a keyhole. Yeah, it's a doorway to a different dimension where the narrator is in complete control. He knows your thoughts. He can talk to you through your thoughts. He can make you see things that he wants, and he basically takes them all down memory lane. So we see a cool scene about Cyborg and his origin. We see more about the other two's origin and just like who they are as people. And so that's really cool. And while that's happening, you got Robot Man and Crazy Jane, and I really like what's going on with them. She says a line where she's like, I'm not your kid. That I wasn't even thinking about that, but it was like in the back of my head that is like, yeah, perfect. Like they're good. They're really self-aware. They know how to like just like, hey, this is what it is.
And it's kind of like perfect, like easy transition from the last episode too, because Crazy Jane's like, look, I know you don't care about the professor. I know you don't care about the scientist. You just are mad because like your daughter's alive and you could go see her anytime you want. You're just not going.
Yeah.
And you're blaming the professor basically.
Yeah, and she's like, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Like, you got to own up to your shit. I know what my problems are. I got like 64 of them. All right, so I know what my problems are. You gotta go tackle yours. And I like what they're doing with Robot Man. That I feel like Robot Man's the cyborg in this shit.
Yes.
Like I feel like he's the cyborg, and I really like that they're doing that. I can't say that enough times about this show.
Like, I love the fact that he now has to come to terms with his whole new life and whole new things. But it's also, even though he is this whole new robot, there's still a whole bunch of stuff he never dealt with before that now he's getting flashbacks of.
Talking about dealing with stuff, like Cyborg has this whole thing about like he's telling the team, like he's doing like some team leadership, like talking to them about tackling their insecurities, and then his dad shows up.
Oh.
And like the stuff with his dad, like how his like flashback having to do with his mom, his dad, we actually see his dad like taking apart his body, like breaking the bones and stuff after the accident so that he could like replace it with robot pieces. And it's like making the crunching sounds of him breaking the bones and stuff. It's
like you could feel it.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
But I do like that line. It's like, if you don't know your past, you're destined to repeat it. During that scene where his dad is like fixing him.
Yeah. That was a good line. It was like, and that was like the hidden part of his past that he didn't know. Like he knew the moral, like, why am I Victor Stone? But he didn't know like the deep, dark, dirty shit. And that's what Doom Patrol is all about. Mm-hmm. So, we do get more of like Crazy Jane. We see a lot of her personalities, like one after another, after another, after another. There's a fight with her between Robot Man, Cyborg, and her. And it's not really a fight. They're kind of just going through the mansion, and she's using different kinds of powers. So we're kind of getting a palette.
Yeah.
We're getting a sense of like the palette of like who does what personality does what power kind of thing.
But there's 64. So even though they gave us more of her this time, it's still only just like a little piece of who she really is and what her background is. We do see a little bit with all the VHSs that Robot Man uses to see.
And they have like that string theory board where it shows like who's in the personality and what personality answers to who and who's allowed to talk to what personality about what. And it's getting crazy. And it ends with Crazy Jane painting something. And what she sees is basically a clue to like the next episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, we don't want to give it away. So we recommend that you go see it. Doom Patrol is definitely something to watch. That is episode 2. And Jen, how did you like it?
I loved it. Episode 2 is amazing. I did not think the narrator was going to work for episode 2, but they proved me wrong with that 100%.
And it's like when they go into that alternate world, they put on those like headsets and he's like, yeah, that's right, I'm the narrator. And it all wraps around. You're like, that's why he's talking like that. That's why he's the narrator. That's why he's saying all these like little jokes and stuff. And it fits. Everything fits for this show.
100%.
All right. So that's episode 2. We wanted to keep it brief for you guys, but we will see you guys later for episode 3. I think a good name for this episode is Who is Victor Stone? Not sure what the real name of the episode is, but that's the name of this episode. So we'll catch you guys later.